What's going on, Colts Nation? Appreciate you joining me for another video. And before we get into the video, just know that in the description there is a link for Green Gridiron where you can get mini helmets or authentic NFL helmets. Okay, and make sure to use the discount code INDSYN at checkout and use that referral code down in the description so that they know I sent you. Okay, so again, go to the description. Holiday season coming up. Mini helmets, mini helmet accessories, helmet accessories, whatever the case may be. You want it for you, your man cave, a loved one, whatever the case is. Mini helmets and authentic NFL helmets can be found on Green Gridiron. The link in the description. Again, that is code INDSYN for the discount code. I appreciate you stopping by. And now let's get into the video. Today, we're going to talk about that list of free agents that I continue to mention. We got some big time free agents. We have a pretty decent list of guys who are going to be free agents. And right now we are slated to have, I believe, $54 million going into the offseason in terms of cap space. And going through this list, and some of these names I'll end up having, individual videos about whether we should or shouldn't keep these guys. This is going to be more of a brief overlook, looking at who we have, and just kind of quickly going over some thoughts. And of course, as I go along here, let me know what you think, right? There are a lot of names here that I'm sure people are going to have opinions about. You let me know in the comment section what you think. And don't forget to get in that description for that Green Gridiron link, and be sure to use code INDSYN to get helmets, mini helmets, whatever the case may be. The discount code again is INDSYN. Okay, but we're looking through this, and I'm looking at Colts Wire. It's something they put out back in like May, I think is what I saw. Yeah, May 6th, earlier this year. And of course, at the very top, it's going to be Ryan Kelly, right? Maybe our most notable free agent going into the offseason. Ryan Kelly, been here his entire career, been a mainstay, he's been a captain. So this is one that a lot of people are going to feel differently on, right? And this is a guy who has gone through some personal turmoil, and a lot of people know about it, right? The I believe was his infant daughter. So of course, this isn't like some sort of attack on who he is as a person. This is just as a player. This is as we're building in the future with Anthony Richardson and how things go. Right, when you think about Ryan Kelly, Ryan Kelly might have taken his last snap as a Colts center, right? It's Tanner Bortolini season right now with Ryan Kelly on the IR, and we'll see exactly what happens with that. And of course, he's one of those guys that we'll do more of a real deep dive on at some point here in the future. Then next up here, tight end Mo Alley-Cox. While I have your attention, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button, and of course, be subscribed and have notifications turned on. When you look at the channel, the amount of people that come here, 52.6% of the people that have watched content on this channel over the last month are not subscribed. And just to go deeper into those numbers, of the almost 14,000 views on this channel in the past month, 66.8% of those views come from people that are not subscribed to the channel. If you're one of those people, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. Again, if you enjoy the content, hit that like button. Now, let's get back to the video. And this is another one that, kind of elicits a lot of different reactions from people. Mo Alley-Cox brings value, of course, in different ways, but as Colts fans, we're looking for somebody that we can insert into the offense as a star tight end, and we haven't been able to find that. Mo Alley-Cox obviously is a great run blocker. He's good for us in that way. But, as a receiver, not really. He has his moments. But, of course, we don't have a real star at tight end. So, depending on what his price is and with him being a veteran player, I just kind of doubt that the Colts are going to want to bring him back. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I was wrong last season about some of the guys that they brought back on one-year deals. So maybe they do decide to go ahead and bring Mo Alley-Cox back into the fold. Okay, and the next, obviously, Joe Flacco, highly doubtful that he comes back. And you know what, Sam Ehlinger on this list, highly doubtful that he comes back. Maybe they decide to bring him back and he could be the emergency quarterback. I think Jason Bean is going to be a mainstay on this team in the future, or, whether he's, the second quarterback, third quarterback, whatever it is, I think Jason Bean is going to have a spot. So neither of the quarterbacks, in my opinion, should come back. Then a very interesting name for the defense is EJ Speed. And this is tough because I think EJ's having an incredible season. season. He's having, I feel like just gotten better year by year, coming out of Charleston and, obviously an HBCU school, and him being very proud of that. He has the podcast with Zaire Franklin. So, I'm sure for them, it'd be easier if EJ just ended up staying on the team. But we drafted Jalen Carleys, and Jalen Carleys played pretty well. He's played well this season right now. I think he's on the IR, if I'm not mistaken, but played well. And so I think there's a chance that EJ could end up not coming back, but that's one that, again, we'll look at EJ later in the season or early off season, something like that. But EJ having an incredible year, somebody that I like. I'm a little partial to linebackers because I was a linebacker, but I really enjoy EJ's speed as a player, just like I did Bobby. All right, Bobby Okereke, but him moving on gave room for a guy like EJ to get into the lineup, right? And then, possibly, EJ leaving gives a chance for somebody like Jalen Carleys to get in the lineup. So we'll see what happens there. But next defender here is going to be safety Julian Blackman, who this year I feel like hasn't been as impactful as we're used to seeing. And maybe that's just because, when he's in coverage, the ball just doesn't go that way, which is very possible. I'm going to have to go back at some point and really start to study the different plays, right? And which makes, NFL Pro on NFL Plus. At some point, I'll use that, go through, look at Julian Blackman, and really just try to hone in on how he's been for us this season. I don't want to go off PFF grade. I don't want to go off what other people say. I want to go in and look and see just how good or just how bad he is. Of course, we've let some stuff go over the top. Could we, who are the safeties going to be, right? We'll look into Julian Blackman in the safety situation some more later down the road, but he is another one of those big-time free agents that the Colts are going to have. Now, this is a very interesting one. Is the wide receiver Ashton Dolan, and this one's interesting, right? Because Ashton Dolan is a wide receiver, and we have all the depth we need at wide receiver, right? Anthony Gould is inactive from game to game right now. So I think there's you could see an avenue where Ashton Dolan ends up not being on the team next year, but he's so good on special teams traditionally that I feel like he could. But it's all about it's going to be about money, right? And these veteran special teamers are going to warrant more money, especially a guy that, at one point in his career had to be the Colts' #1 receiver due to injuries, right? So this is a guy that has the experience at receiver, the experience on special teams. Will we bring him back, or will we want to go cheaper? Feels like we could be in a spot this offseason where it's finally time to rebuild it instead of just trying to retool it around. So we'll see exactly what happens there. But Ashton Dolan, another one of those guys, very interesting conversation that's going to be surrounding him and whether or not he comes back to the team. Okay, and the next name on here, Taven Bryan. Okay, I think we're all on the same page there. Not really even going to talk about that one. Why is he still here? And then the next one, we are going to have an individual video on this guy at some point. Dayo Odeyingbo, a guy that's been very effective as a pass rusher. Honestly, probably been our best pass rusher all season long. Obviously, Latu, his numbers are really good. He's just not on the field enough and hasn't been able to have really the impact. But Dayo's been good all season long, run game, pass game, the athleticism, the inside-outside versatility, getting a pass rusher of his magnitude with what is probably not going to be such a hefty price, right? Because of how much we rotate our guys. And I think that he's really more of a situation. It's going to be, does he want to be here or not? And the way things have gone here, there's a good chance he wants to go somewhere else and try to play. But nonetheless, that's somebody I think we need to bring back. And of course, again, we'll have a video on that at some point. Ronnie Harrison, another guy. And this is somebody that, if you move on from EJ Speed and bring Jalen Carleys in, that's where I could see Ronnie Harrison getting re-signed back to have the versatility that he brings for us to be able to play that position, right? Jalen Carleys gets drafted and he takes the Ronnie Harrison position in that defense. And of course, do we have Gus Bradley next year? I think that's going to be a pretty big part of the entire equation on whether or not, that spot specifically goes to a guy like Ronnie Harrison. So, some stuff to see there. That's going to be, in the offseason conversation. Danny Pinter, didn't think he'd be back this year, shouldn't be back next year. Just cut your losses, move on. Like, why is he taking up a roster spot? If he gets in the game, we're screwed. Tight end Eric Tomlinson, just a depth piece. Who knows? Didn't think he'd make it on team this year. He's just chilling on the practice squad, so we'll see what happens there. Then defensive end Gennard Avery, maybe you want to keep him as a depth piece. I just don't really see the reason to go and try to upgrade all the different rooms that you can, get the best depth that you can. Maybe Gennard Avery is a guy that you keep in for one of those super depth pieces, right? Being the bottom of the lineup on the defensive ends. But I just think somebody that's been on the roster for a couple of years, if he's not making waves, then what are we doing? Go try to find somebody that might be able to do it, and somebody that's not a veteran, so he'll be cheaper. Okay, then next, Chris Lamon, special teams utility guy. Obviously, you get him in on defense, not the ideal situation, but a guy that you get him in on special teams. And he's somebody that's able to make plays for us on special teams. But again, do we want to go younger? Which of the veterans do we keep for special teams? That's going to be a conversation for the offseason. Interior offensive lineman Jack Anderson, just no, don't really see that. And then Trey Sermon. Actually, Trey Sermon, not the last guy on this list. Trey Sermon, this is a long list. Trey Sermon is somebody that I didn't think should have been on the team anyways. I do have another video that I want to get to you guys at some point about what I think we should have done at running back in the offseason. But Trey Sermon, just nah. Trey Sermon's a no for me. Tyree Cleveland, practice squad guy, right? Who cares? Kylan Granson, no. Been here for 4 years, has 1 touchdown. Ineffective. Somebody that I defended so often, like, oh, this guy is a mismatch. We should be able to use him, or oh, we're just not using him the right way. It just doesn't matter. Kylan Granson just unable to really make a large impact. So for me, Kylan Granson is a no. Juwan Winfrey, wide receiver, has the physical tools that you'd want at receiver, but another one of these guys that really hasn't been able to make the impact. And then, like I said, Sam Ehlinger, also on the no list. Will Fries, who's been very good, right? The first time we ever saw him in action wasn't great. But I think that was 2022, right? And then last season he comes out, he was really good. And this year he was really good for us. But we also have Dalton Tucker, who's been really good. So I just think there's not really going to be a space for a guy that's going to want money. Right, a guy that he's definitely going to want to get a good payday. He's going to be coming off an injury, but I just think you go cheaper with Dalton Tucker, right? An undrafted free agent. He's been very good. Tony Sperano is offensive line coach. Like, he's just shown that he can be really good for us, and I think Dalton Tucker is the future at right guard, at least for right now. Maybe it's just until the end of his rookie contract or whatever the case may be. But I think Will Fries probably done with the Colts after this season, in my opinion. And then Grant Stewart, who is a free agent in the offseason. Somebody, of course, has been good on special teams, good defensively. Somebody that I would be kind of shocked if we moved away from. But again, with all these special teams guys, do we try to go cheaper, and what does that look like? So this is just, again, an overview of the free agents that we have going into the offseason. Some big free agents on offense, some big free agents on defense, some big free agents on special teams. It's going to be a massive offseason for the Colts, and there's going to be a lot to talk about. We're going to have individual videos about a lot of these guys, so be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you get notified anytime we have any more content drop, anytime we're talking about these free agents, whatever the case may be. Make sure you get notified for it, and of course, I appreciate you stopping by for another video. And as always, take care of yourself, take care of each other, and go Colts.